Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Built Like This podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, on episode 323. Hello. I feel so flushed because just came home from a workout, a spin class, cycle. I call it cycle class, but I feel like that sounds so feminine, like my menstrual cycle, which I haven't had in a while. Okay, anyway, TMI, TMI. Anyway, I feel flushed, but I feel good. And let's get into this episode. I hope you all are doing well. It is summer break for me. So I am just basking in the nothing to do ness in my schedule, which is amazing. It feels good, but it also feels like, wait, should I be doing something? I feel this way every summer, but anyway, I'm happy about it. I did work a summer job just for the month of June, and that has wrapped up. And now I'm literally free and available. But I'll just be with my man. So me and Freckles Bay, we're just gonna be together, hanging out, doing what we do. So that's always a good time. But let's get into these topics. I want to start off with the BET Awards. I haven't tuned into the BET Awards in quite some time. It's been some time. I can't tell you the last time I watched it. Like, looked forward to it, tuned in, watched it in full, watched the red carpet. It's truly been a long time. Why? I just think some things you kind of grow out of. I used to be so big on the BET Awards, any award show, honestly, but I just feel like when you get older and you just have like life, you have responsibilities, being younger, I didn't have responsibilities per se. I just like had my own thing as far as, keep up with your grades. But, being an adult and being just always thinking of different ways to be creative, to earn more money, to just build habits that are productive. Watching the BET Awards is not one of those habits for myself. For very good reason. Okay, so this year it was hosted by Taj P, who is a very talented host. Now, she started off, because I'm watching the clips of it, and she started off the award show imitating Kendrick Lamar from his Pop Out concert. Literally imitating from his aesthetic to the sound, but she used her own lyrics. It just sounded super corny. I can't even tell you what type of, like, what exactly was she saying. She was kind of huffing and puffing too. I don't know. It was just like, okay. It was very lackluster. For you to imitate that, like that, they're not like us, that song. I feel like it really should be top notch considering how much of a cultural impact that song has. So it was definitely lackluster. Look, I talked about this last episode and I'm still feeling it now. I'm kind of tired of this beef. It was great for what it was. It was very entertaining. That weekend, I remember where I was when the diss tracks dropped back to back. I remember where I was. I was at my friend Chantel's housewarming and we were all talking about it. And then boom, another one came out. Another one came out. And y'all know I watch academics live. I'm a chat queen. Before I said chat nigga, but no, there's a female version of that. I'm a chat queen, not a nigga. I'm not a nigga. And he covered it. Like, it was a really big time for academics and other streamers, I'm sure, but definitely academics for sure. Anyway, it was a great moment. It was a great moment. It was a great weekend. It was live. It was action. It was just fun, like being a part of a community that really was in tune with this, that analyzed this, that was excited about it. It was fun. Now it's over. And yes, you should capitalize off of it. Yes, you should make this even more and get as much of get as much attention as you can. I'm sure Drake would be doing that had it been him on the victory side of this beef. Because he kind of did that with Back to Back when he was beefing with Meek. But I just feel like enough. Like, you know what I mean? And I think maybe I'm just like a little sensitive. I know I'm definitely a sensitive girly, but I feel kind of bad for Drake. I feel bad for him. I feel like, oh, Drake, everyone's against you, Drake. Like, that's what I want to do to Drake. That's what I want to be like, here. But obviously he's super rich, super loved by other people, at least by the industry for the most part. But then the conversation has moved on to Drake being a possible industry plant, and the real rappers in the industry, the ones who are really respected for their lyricism, they're finally tired and wanting to tear down Drake and tear him off from the pedestal that he's on. So it's just a lot. But what I find to be interesting is this whole like white boy narrative. Oh, white boy. Okay, Rick Ross. Was he a white boy when y'all were on tracks together? When y'all were featured together on the same songs? Was he a white boy then? They have a couple of songs together. Let's see if I can find. Aston Martin Music. You Only Live Twice. Aston Martin Music was the most famous one that I could remember right now. you know? Anyway, but they say Drake is an asshole behind the scenes. Maybe so, but he seems very likable on camera. He does. Nonetheless, I think it's great that this has been a cultural movement, but I also feel like, can we move forward? Like, I'm kind of done with this topic, and I want academics to stop talking about it. But of course he won't. He's a Drake fanatic, which is fine. But yeah, it's just so interesting. Anyway, so yes, Taraji P. Henson started off her hosting gig with her own twist to They Not Like Us. Now, I'm not going to play it because I was watching his live earlier today, and he played a few clips directly from the BET Awards that was on YouTube, and his channel, his live stream got shut down. So if they do it to act, I'm sure they do it to me. So we're not doing that. I'll just describe it. Yeah, so she looked just like him. She was like dressed up as him and rapped her own lyrics to the same beat and doing the dance moves. But from what I heard, it just was like, first it was hard for me to tell what she was saying, and I just didn't think she rapped it really well. She ended it off saying, what was it? Like, she was trying to make it seem like, oh, we love everyone here, and trying to bring this like kumbaya moment, which sure is respectable, but girl, ain't nobody trying to hear that right now. You know? So let me see if I can find the lyrics. Taraji on the beat. So she starts off like that. Well, I think she ends off like that. This is a show. Da, 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 da. Okay, who cares? Anyway, but yeah, so she is so she's hosting it, right? So as we know, this is a election season that we're in. And I'm switching gears for a moment here because this is still relevant to what I'm saying. So we're in an election season, of course. And this is a great opportunity for people to fearmonger the fuck out of Black people and make us believe that we are going back to the days of slavery if we don't stick with Dems, if we don't stick with Biden, if we don't suck his, if we don't do that, then we're gonna go back to slavery. That's it. I'm trying to find this clip. Hold on. So Taraji, during her hosting gig, she talks about the Project 2025, in which, okay, I found it. She's calling out the Dems. No, she's calling out Republicans. She's calling out everyone to really pay attention. And this is not a game. And you're going to get criminalized for just being homeless. I'm going to go ahead and play this because I was like, girl, what? But let's go ahead and get into it because
it's time for us to play chess, not checkers. It's about making decisions that will affect us as human beings, our careers, our next generations to come.
Well, first of all, who are you talking to? Taraji? Why are you yelling at me?
Did you know that it is now a crime to be homeless? Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens.
But let's talk about that real quick before I finish this clip. It's a crime to be homeless. Let's look into that some more. I think the intention here is to clean the streets. Is it a crime to okay, yeah, there we go. Look at that. Google just know. Okay, so according to, I'm gonna see, can y'all see it from my end? Okay, make sure you are watching me on YouTube so you know exactly what I am showing you. Okay, so according to a quick Google search, it says here it is not a crime. So it says here, despite it not being a crime to be homeless in Texas, various laws targeting homeless people have led to widespread criminalization. This harsh approach towards homelessness has seen cities in North Texas make national headlines for their uncompromising stance. Excuse me. I'm drinking a little healthy soda. In a profoundly disappointing ruling, the U.S. Supreme Court today decided that the U.S. Constitution does not protect homeless people against cruel and unusual punishment, even when they have no choice to sleep in public using things like blankets or pillows. Okay, well, let's look into this some more. I'm about to rash on Taraji. I think, okay, let's just talk about the intent behind that. Let's talk about the intent behind that real quick, because I think what it really is about is cleaning up the streets. Clean it up. And yes, obviously they're homeless, they have nowhere to go, but do they? Or they're choosing not to. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's a way we could work with this, because ultimately we want everyone to feel comfortable while they're outside. And I think sometimes when you have certain areas in America, so there's some areas in Austin, there's some there's some areas in Houston, there's some areas in Boston. All three places I am familiar with, right? Because I frequent there, I live there, all these places I'm familiar with. There are just blocks and blocks of homeless people just taking up the streets. They're taking up the sidewalks, and it's an unpleasant scent. It's an unpleasant sight, and it's just an uncomfortable experience overall. Now, oh, you're being insensitive, Maxine. What about them? They have to sleep on the floor, on the concrete floor, on the ground. clean it up. Hello? Hello. I still want you to clean it up. Because what's also happening is you see a lot of used or unused drug paraphernalia on the ground, rolling around. You see needles just rolling around, and the scent is strong. I'm sorry, the scent is strong. Now, I think two things could happen here at the same time, meaning, yes, clean it up, but also provide resources that is available and that is accessible to all homeless people, whatever they may need. So whether they need immediate shelter, or some of them are homeless just for like a few days because they just got evicted and they're trying to figure out their next steps. So help them along those next steps, while of course also giving them immediate shelter. Overall, a lot of these people who are out on these streets, they need support, and they need to be pushed out of the streets into areas and places that are for them, that's secluded for them. Now, the same people like Taraji P. Henson who have these like, oh, they're criminalized people who are homeless. Blah, blah. First of all, you wouldn't take in a homeless person in your home. So let's stop acting like you're this like moral high ground who is quick to provide shelter and aid for these homeless people. So, and let's also stop acting like if you're strolling around your neighborhood and there's a community of homeless people that is taking up space and making the area uncomfortable, unsafe, you're going to have a problem with that. You are. So it's not this like, oh, this is a Republican thing and Republicans are attacking humanity. No, it's about a safety thing. It's about cleaning up the streets. clean it up. I look good. Hello? Look at this workout. Got glowy face. But dead ass. I'm sorry. I don't know. A lot of them, of course, are on drugs, are dealing with mental health issues. All of these things do matter. I'm not saying just burn them up. Just throw them away. I'm not saying that. I'm saying clean up the streets. And while you're cleaning up the streets, you're providing them with the necessary aid and resources they need in order to not be on these streets. Every time I go to this grocery store near where I live, there's a particular block that I see that is just inhabited with homeless people. They have their tent, they have their blanket, like they have a whole deck. And it's like, look, create your home, right? Create your home, but you're on the sidewalk. Get a job. I'm kidding. That part's a joke. Obviously, they can't get a job. They don't have an address. Starts there. The point is, they need to be supported. So before we lock them up, I mean, maybe it's best. Maybe it's better. I would rather be. You know what I mean? If you had to choose. But anyway, I just want to touch on that. So, sure, it may look like there's a crime to be homeless, but the issue is these streets are dirty. I sound super intense. That's the issue. Clean up the streets. And I said what I said, and I ain't changing it. Let me just listen to the rest of this. Look it up. Okay, now the Project 2025 plan. What the fuck is that? Let's talk about it. I was looking at it earlier, but I feel like the article that I saw it from was a liberal based article or platform. So it gave a very biased approach, and I don't like that. Okay, so let's look at this here. Okay, so this one obviously is the right side. the right side. You see what I did there? Both literally and figuratively. If you know, you know. But it's an actual website for it, project2025.org. Very to the point. Great. Okay, so it says here, building now for conservative victory through policy, personnel, and training. What's wrong? What's wrong, Taraji? Is these buzzwords that have these staunch Democrats thinking and feeling that their life is at risk, that our freedom is on the line, our rights as women, our reproductive First of all, Charlie Panton, you're not having a kid. You already have an adult son. You are over the age of having children naturally. And I'm sure you don't want to have a new child all of a sudden at your old age right now. The point is, a lot of these women who are so like, what about our reproductive rights? You don't have any right now. Like, you don't need any rights. You don't. Are you trying to conceive or are you trying to abort? Because I doubt it. You could get pregnant, Taraji. Taraji is, how old is she? She is in her 50s. I just find it, and you may say, oh, well, she's 53 years old. What are you talking about? Because there's a clip of her and we're going to play this clip too. Child, I'm so happy I didn't watch the damn awards because I would have been so annoyed. Because just watching these clips got me super annoyed. So, okay, bet. She's, let me play this clip because this one right here, this shit right here, nigga. Kamala Harris. So, of course, you know, Kamala Harris is a quote unquote black woman. I'm saying quote unquote because she would often say she's Asian or Indian. Well, you know, still is Asian. But the point is, she'll teeter tatter. It's like whatever's most convenient for her to be. So they're obviously pinning off of the They Not Like Us tribute or song, the cultural movement that it is. And she is like playing on her black card. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip of Taraji FaceTiming Kamala Harris, who is sitting conveniently at the White House when we could never find her. Girl, what does she say? We are burdened by not what has been, but what will become. I totally butchered it, but she definitely says burden and not what has been.
Oh, Madam VP Harris, I'm worried about the election. Women's reproductive rights are on the line. Our Supreme Court is on the line. Our basic freedoms are being tested, Madam VP.
What basic freedoms are being tested? What is again, what bothers me the most about this is this fear-mongering tactic that is relentless. That is relentless. What rights or what is it that is at risk? Are you going to lose your job, Taraji? Are there, if you suddenly decide not to talk about this, is your house going to be taken away from you? Like, what are you like? You're fine. At the very least, you're fine. You have the resources, you have the status, you have the funds to be fine if this were to fall down. But this idea of like, if we don't keep Biden, who's barely able to speak, who's barely able to be coherent, then what? Are we all going to just suddenly collapse? Is America going to collapse? Stop it.
I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell
Kamala talking about, yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. Kamala, what? Is she code switching right now?
you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. the majority of us believe
nothing is at stake. Nothing is at stake. Nothing is on the stake. Nothing is on the grill. Everything is just fine.
in freedom and equality. But these extremists, as they say, they not like us.
They not.
Okay, I'm tired of this line for a plethora of reasons. It's being overused. It's just relentless. But it's the lack of clarification for me. Who is the us now? Who is the us now? Because we're not a monolith. Remember that? We will often remember when that was a big word for Black people. The Black community is not a monolith. We're not. Because if Sexy Red is gonna say they're not like us, bitch, Sexy Red, who is the us? Because just because we share the same skin tone does not mean we are alike. Okay? And Taraji, her saying they don't like how we share the same skin tone, we're both women, but we're not alike. Like, you have this different lifestyle compared to me. So yeah, you're not like me. What do we, so this idea of like, oh, Black people's not a monolith, but they're not like us, is being conveniently used in times when we want Black people to only vote blue. Vote blue no matter who. No, I'm not voting for Biden. And you shouldn't either. Yeah, this is me influencing you.
There's a full-on attack on our fundamental freedoms. The freedom to...
No, there isn't. What is the attack? What freedom is being at risk here? I'm really trying to... Am I missing something? And maybe I should talk to Freckles Bay about this some more, because maybe I'm missing the mark. But we seem to think similarly. And he's definitely enlightened me a lot. But there's no freedom at risk.
Vote. Yep. The freedom to love who you love.
Wait,
the freedom to vote. Yeah. There's a full-on attack on our fundamental freedoms. The freedom to vote.
The freedom to vote is not an attack. You know what's interesting is ever since the argument of, those, you should only be able to vote if you have a government ID. People, the Dems, are not liking this because that means they won't have the migrant vote on their side, because obviously the migrants don't have a US ID as of yet. And because the migrants are getting supported by the Democratic Party with different aid and resources, of course they're going to support and vote with the party or for the party that has been supporting them in this immigration. But if the policy is intact of you can't vote if you don't have a US ID, then that vote won't count, right? They obviously won't be able to vote, and that won't support the blue. So that is what she's saying here. But that should be a solid thing for us. Like, we shouldn't be accepting votes from any old body. You should be a US citizen. You should have a valid US ID to be able to vote for the president of the US. Does that make sense? Like, how am I going to Mexico and I'm voting for the Mexican president, but I'm not a Mexican citizen?
Yep. The freedom to love who you love, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom for a woman to make decisions about her own body, not having her government tell her what to do.
Oh, man.
Child, girl, enough. Kamala, that really made me cringe. They not like us. Kamala, who are you? Because you're Asian one day, you're Black the next day. Which one is it? Okay, so now let's get back to this Project 2025 proposal. So yeah, these buzzwords, conservative, people don't like hearing that word because there's a negative connotation that comes with it, which is totally untrue. In my opinion, what's untrue about that is it's not about it being negative. It's about the fact that we are living in a society that lacks decorum. We're living in a society that is showing nude images readily accessible for all impressionable minds to be influenced. And that is not okay. It's not okay. Like, long gone are the days when you would sneak into an adult store, wear a mask, like a actual face mask, and glasses, and a Hitler mustache to hide your identity, just so you get some porn. Now it's just, oh, go on X. There's consensual new, and look, I'm here for porn. The point is, these kids should not have access so easily to such content. All right, so it says here, it's not enough for conservatives to win elections. If we are going to rescue the country from the grip of radical left, we need both a governing agenda and the right people in place, ready to carry this agenda out on day one of the conservative administration. This is built on 4 pillars. Okay, all white men, which is definitely not an optic sound image here. Let's see if I can find what is it about though, because I read it before, but I don't think I read it in full. Okay, this is too much right now. The point is, look it up, y'all. All it talks about is conservatism, which is not always this bad thing. I think we have to reevaluate and re-examine the style that we're in this society. And just judging off of the BET Awards, there's a lot of things that we're seeing that has been normalized. It's too normalized for us to see ass, nudity, twerking time and time. Like, it's too much. It's really too much. Like, it's one thing to have a choreography that includes some ass shaking, but it's another thing when that is your only move. It's another thing when you are butt ass naked and it's out there on Front Street. There's no adult warning. There's nothing. There's no disclaimer. There's nothing. And it's a lot. Anyway, enough with that. Let's talk about Angela Simmons and how cringe she is. God, this woman, where is Rev Run? Hello? Where's Rev Run? Rev Run? Whose house? Run? Where's Rev Run? Say that 3 times. Why is she at the be? Please make sure you are watching me on YouTube right now. Built Like This podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. Why is she on here wearing not just a nice? She looks nice. Don't get me wrong. She looks good. But why is she holding a gun? A bedazzled, bejeweled firearm. Yes, this is what she's holding. Now, I'm assuming this is a purse. I'm trying to see where her phone is in it. Where does her cards go? But she's pointing it towards the camera. She's pointing it towards the side, like she's about to shoot somebody. And the irony here, her child's father passed away from gun violence. He was shot dead. Her current boyfriend, Yo Gotti, his brother got killed by a gun. And this is what she's doing. This is what she's doing. Now, I'm just mad. I'm just mad. I think what Angela Simmons does here is just so uncomfortable and problematic on so many levels. I think because she thinks she's like hot stuff because she has a thickums type of body, but she could never close her mouth. Hello? Literally and physically, she can never close her mouth. And for her to glamorize a gun when literally your child's father died because of I can't make this shit up. I wish I could make this up. And hold on. Let's move on from this real quick because I want to talk about Remy Ma. Remy Ma, who actually, y'all know her history. She went to prison for some time. How long did she Remy Ma prison sentence. Remember, she went to prison for 8 years. She went in 2008, got out in 8 years. Okay, so 2016 she got out. She went in for her role for assaulting with a weapon possession, and coercion in a 2007 shooting. This led to her sentence of 8 years. And her marriage, I don't know, she was already married to Papoose at the time, but her marriage to him, her relationship with him really became black love because he stood with her. He stayed with her the whole time. He visited her weekly, if not even weekly, every day. She had to tell him herself, okay, you don't have to visit me so much. It's going to be okay. She was doing it just fine. But she spent a long time in prison. And this was because some girl stepped on her. It was something so ridiculous, but because you gotta be hard, I gotta be hard. Anyway, she has a son who is an adult. I didn't know that. I guess that makes sense, right? But anyway, she has an adult son, and guess what? He is going to prison. God bless. I'm not laughing at that because that's horrible. But he is going to prison for what, you may ask? For the same thing. Well, even worse, because I don't think the Remy Ma situation, I don't think that led to anyone's demise. But her son, it did. Okay, so her son is charged with charges, let's say demise charges, for algorithm's sake. And he is going through some court hearings and whatnot, the whole nine. She, of course, is defending him and making sure he has the proper resources and legal counsel so that he gets a fair case and he gets proven not to be guilty. Who knows? Whatever the case is. But she made time to go to the BET Awards. Yes, Remy Ma made time to go to the BET Awards while her son is going to jail for okay, let me show this. I wish I could make this up. I just think we just live in a funny time, y'all. This is a mother, but you a mom though. Shout out to Keke Palmer's ex-baby, well, her baby daddy, not ex, her ex, but still baby daddy. This is what she wore to the BET Awards. Barely dressed. Where's Papoose? But remember, I think it's alleged that she had a boyfriend as of recent, or sometime now, actually. According to these reports, she has been quote unquote grooming this battle rapper. He's of age, don't get me wrong, but helping him in the field, and they developed a sexual or romantic relationship. And he admits to that, but he could be lying. Who knows? Remy Ma nor Papoose has said anything to confirm this or deny it. It just has been out here running, and that's it. So for her to be seen in this photo right now without Papoose, that's telling. And for her to be dressed as she is, I don't look at Remy Ma. She hasn't been marketed as this sex pot type of rapper. You know how Nicki Minaj is marketed, or a Meg Thee Stallion, a Cardi B. Remy Ma hasn't really been marketed that way. So for her to be dressed like this is just so hilarious to me, because it's like, okay, girl, your son is about to go to jail for murder. Why are you here? Can't you go spend time with your son? Anyway, I thought this was just hilarious. So yeah, God bless, child. We'll see how this turns out. It's just like mother, like son, right? It's really unfortunate. Speaking of the BET Awards, well, actually, no, I thought this happened at the BET Awards, but it did not. But let's get into this clip. Another Black moment here that is kind of cringe. I have changed my thoughts on a couple of things. And one of the things I've changed my thoughts on is Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors, yes. What are you talking about? You might ask. I used to be this staunch fan of Jonathan Majors. I thought he was so fun. Not even handsome, fine. I thought he was so fun. And this was before he became mainstream. This was when he was still kind of quote unquote underground. Like I discovered him when he was on Lovecraft Country. When that show was out, that show was just so good, so well done, and he just did his thing. And I felt like he just seemed like a fresh actor. He just seemed to be very fresh and humble, and just he looked good. Like he looked fresh. Now, I don't know if he got some more steroid, not more, but I really thought I think he looks different now. I don't know, he got some steroids in him. I know he's been in like these action movies, Marvel, stuff like that. So maybe he has to have a different diet regimen, but he looks a little different. He looks different. And him being with Megan Good, they both look weird. Like, at first I was for it. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna shit on Megan Good like a lot of these women are, because they're trying to say, oh, why would you be with him considering he beat up his ex white girlfriend, which turned out to not be the case. He restrained her. There's a difference here. It's a difference. Love is love. Love wins, and love is nuance. And yeah. I finished reading this book called The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and this book is just everybody's gay. I can't wait to talk to my book club about this book, because what the fuck did I just read? I guess it was so fitting because we read it in the month of June. And so, June is known for its Pride Month, amongst many things. It's like Black Men Mental Health Month. Anyway, it's known for Pride Month primarily. And we finished this book, which was definitely heavily focused on gay shit, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, that's fine. But I just didn't expect it. A lot of these books that we've read, I'm talking about my book club. Shout out to my book club. If you are interested in joining a virtual book club community, consider my book club. It is called More Reads. Spin on my name. More Reads Book Club on bookclubs.com or bookclub.com. I don't think it's an S at the end. Let me see. Let me make sure. No, there's an S at the end. Yeah. Bookclubs.com. Just search that up and fill out a quick survey so you're not a robot or a weirdo. And if you meet the criteria, welcome. Anyway, so there's a quote from the book and the quote is, when you dig just the tiniest bit beneath the surface, everyone's love life is original and interesting and nuanced and defies any easy definition. And I just thought that was so beautiful, because we all have, maybe not all of us, but there's a lot of us at least, we have a nuanced love story, and regardless of it being like a gay story or not, but nonetheless, some of us may live in an unconventional love story, or some of us may live in a cookie cutter conventional one. Nonetheless, it doesn't make your love greater than anyone else's. It's just, it should be respected and all of that. But Megan Good and Jonathan Majors, I don't know about them. Something about them is a little off to me. But let's go ahead and watch this clip. Okay, let's pause right there. I thought they were saying something. I guess I should have looked at it before, huh? But anyway, in this clip, I'll just play it. And you obviously saw her in the background. If you was watching this whole time, you'll see here Jonathan Majors is receiving the Perseverance Award. I don't know what award ceremony this was, but they decided to award him with this because of all that he's went through, right? He survived. He was found guilty or not innocent, I should say, in the court of law. Doesn't mean that they always have a right. I still support him because I think it was very convenient and easy for the white woman to gain victory in this case, especially considering just her being white. But, in spite of the evidence that Jonathan Majors had, especially that video evidence of him being chased by her, that should have been enough for him to get off. Nonetheless, I think he is deserving of this award, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but I just want to talk about the fact that he just looks off to me. I don't know. God bless him. I just miss him back in the day. Lovecraft Country, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so what do we just finish talking about? Yeah, so we talked about that. Let's talk about do y'all know? If you know, you know. You know what I'm talking about? So there is this viral video out right now of this woman who is known for her comments on how to get that thing going. And by that thing, I mean his thing. Hello. Let me see if I can find the video on YouTube real quick. So you know how there's there's a lot of these interviews that are on the spot, on the go, outside videos, and she was approached by this on the fly interviewer, and I guess he asked her about having a fun time. What do you do to get the ball rolling? And her advice is the following. So let me go ahead and just set this up for y'all because she went viral for this, and it was very funny and interesting. Let's look at
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Hi, can I please
okay, not this guy. Yeah, so there we have it. Give him that hawk toi.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and
and you know what's so funny about that is her confidence here. Her confidence in that's what you gotta give him, the hawk toi, and it looked like she actually spat on at least a little bit on that mic, on that dick right there, right? Anyway, so it turns out she is a teacher. She is a Nashville teacher. I don't know if she was actually in Nashville here or where this is located, but she's having a good time. She's with her girlfriend and they're just chilling. Now we live in a day and age where teachers are being persecuted for having personal lives. And sure, maybe she shouldn't put it on. She's not responsible for that, and she's having fun. It shouldn't have to who knows? But if this is all true, if she, because I'm hearing some talk that she wasn't a teacher, or people are making a bigger deal than they have to. But the story is that she is a preschool teacher, and she apparently got laid off, or she got let go because of this viral video. So who knows if that is actually the case here. But let's talk about the hoctoi. I'm not like a spitter. Hello? Are you guys still here? I'm not a spitter. I'm not big on that. Remember I talked about that years ago. So when I was in college, in undergrad specifically. Me and this guy, we were hooking up. And as we were in the motion, he was down there, doing his thing. He spit on that thing, like on mine. He spit on mine. And when I tell you I was so disgusted, I could have walked the fuck out. I was like, wait, what? I didn't know what just happened. Like, that has never happened to me before. And that has not happened to me since. Like, that was the first and last time. And I was just very taken aback. I remember in the moment I was like, what are you doing? He said to me, he said, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, just like it, shut up. And I was like, but I don't. And this really just speaks to the fact that sometimes we get so caught up in what we think someone will like because of maybe something that we watched on a adult video. Oh, the girl in the video likes it. I'm not getting paid for this, so I wouldn't like it. Yeah, so look, I'm not big. I don't like spit. Some people like spitting in people's mouths. I don't like seeing spit. I hate when I'm out and I'm on a stroll, or even if I'm driving and I happen to turn my head and I see someone walking or even just standing still and they spit on the ground. And I always happen to catch that. I don't know what it is about me and my eyes, but I always catch it. If someone is spitting on the ground, I always catch it. I hate that. I hate when people are chewing gum in front of me while talking to me. I don't like looking at that chewed up piece in your mouth. Like, maybe there's a name for that, but I hate that. So you could only imagine how disturbed I was when he spit on that thing on me. You spat on me. And honestly, I was just raised in a way. I was raised during a time in which spitting on people was the utmost disrespect, because you spit on dirt. You spit on the ground. I still don't like seeing spit in any capacity, but at the very least, you're spitting on the ground. And now you're spitting on me? Like, I just even think, because I remember that I could kind of still feel it. If I go deep, I could feel it. Are you okay? No, but dead ass though, I could still feel how I felt. I could, if I literally, I'm closing my eyes right now and I remember where I was, how I felt, my reaction, all of that. It was a disturbing moment. I just had to move along with it because, well, I mean, we're already here, Oh, but anyway, yeah, I've never spit on that thing. No. And that doesn't mean I don't like the dick. No. I like pleasing my man. Freckles Bay knows that. But I don't. I'm not hoctoying, and I don't want you to hoctoy on me. Get away from me with all of that, Apollo. Get away from me, Apollo. Oh, child, spit on that thing. No, that's fucking disgusting. Grow up. Grow up. Okay, so Kenya Moore is not returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Good. I'm over this show. It has gone to shits. It has gone to shit. This show, when was the last good season of Real Housewives of Atlanta? When was the last good season? And even with Potomac is kind of sliding off now. I'm happy Candiace is not returning. You know, God bless her, but she has been the prime, the common denominator in a lot of the physical altercations that has taken place. Whether she wants to take ownership, she's always quick to be like, no, like very fucking childish. Something needed to change. So I'm hoping that with the next season of Potomac, it will be better considering Candiace is out. Housewives of Atlanta, I don't know what needs to happen because Candy left. What else? Marlo's not on anymore. Nene has been long gone, and we need to let that go. Nene is not returning. She has destroyed all bridges of Bravo. She has talking so much crap about Andy Cohen. She has went to court about Andy. Like, there is no way Nene Leakes will return or can return or will be hired to return to Atlanta Housewives. I'll leave it alone. Leave it alone, Joan. Leave it alone. So Kenya Moore has been fired allegedly. She's been put down because of a moment in which she allegedly exposed a fellow cast member who was a new girl on the cast. She exposed some explicit photos and just visual content of this cast member, because apparently this cast member did explicit content in the past, and Kenya and this woman apparently were beefing, and Kenya decided allegedly to reveal this at a function. So this happened during recording, and I guess, you know, Kenya obviously thought she could do that because a lot of these shows, and it's anything could happen. Like, people are jumping on tables, flipping tables. Well, I'm talking jumping on tables. That's basketball wise, but nonetheless, there are fights that have happened throughout all of the franchises of Housewives. So one, I do see how this is very peculiar for Kenya Moore to be targeted and for her livelihood to now be at risk, to be terminated. That is unfortunate. She is a single mother, and I guess she's finally divorced now. That weird ass sham of a marriage and her sham boyfriends. There's a lot going on with her. Nonetheless, it's unfortunate that she got fired for something that is one of the many things that have been just the trend and acceptable for the housewives to take part in. So that's the irony here. But am I mad at Kenya Moore not being able to return to Real Housewives of Atlanta? No, because what the fuck? The last few seasons of Kenya Moore on the show has been a joke. It has truly been a joke because Kenya Moore, there's nothing else for us to know about her. It's the same story. She was going through a divorce and he didn't want to sign the papers. Her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, her hopefully soon-to-be ex-husband, has yet to ever show up as a good father for their child, and it's just the same broken record. I'm tired of it, and there's no progression. We don't see any vulnerability in Kenya Moore. We don't see her really dating and moving on, and and her talking about this hair salon that she has that's not even real. Like, she has been on an interview on YouTube with Dr. Heavenly from Married to Medicine. And she's talking, Dr. Heavenly's asking her about the hair salon, like, okay, tell us more about your hair salon, yada yada yada. Kenya Moore is being very coy about the details and the address of the hair salon. Like, is this place a real place? Are you really so all of this to say Kenya Moore is a liar. Like, she doesn't tell the truth if her life depended on it. So there's no hair salon. There's this sham of the hair salon. She have a sham of an ex-husband. She had sham of boyfriends. Like, she's not real. If we're talking about real housewives, can we have real people on? People with real storylines, people with real life scenarios? These same regurgitated storylines and scenarios are just broken records. I'm tired of it. Let's move on. So I'm fine with Kenya Moore not being on Real Housewives of Atlanta anymore. I think it is better for the show for them to start brand new, introduce us to a whole new set of women who are actually housewives, or maybe some of them are not housewives anymore, but let that anymore be recent anymore. Like, all of them on the show are literally not wives of any house. They don't have any wives in their name. There's no wife. Nothing. Anyway, that's it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel Built Like This Podcast. Make sure you are subscribed to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and leave a positive review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and engage in the comments on YouTube. And be sure to follow this podcast on Instagram at Built Like This Pod. That is all. So I will check in with you all next time. Enjoy and goodbye. Bye.